Looter season is upon us across the land as countrymen and countrywomen, boys and girls, vent collective emotions over hardship in the land. As the protest gathers steam, essential services like banks and petrol stations have become paralyzed in many centers across the country. The protest became violent in Kano, with hoodlums taking advantage of the situation to loot shops and offices. But in Lagos here, the police were constrained to fire tear gas canisters at protesters who in their hundreds stepped out of line. Now, pictures don't tell lie, or do they? Let's share some of the moments with you. Let's go. Come with me.
Joshua, be careful!
Ruwan zafi, ga ruwan zafi, 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 ruwan zafi a gidan gwamnatin jihar Kano. Ruwan zafi inda ga wani can ya zauna a ƙasa ya ce sai dai a kashe shi. Ga wasu mutane sun zauna a ƙasa sun ce sai dai a kashe su. Ga su mutane sun ki guduwa sun ce sai dai a kashe su. Ga kuma ruwan zafi na ci gaba da sauka akan mutane. Mutane suna samun guri.
Well, pictures, gentlemen. Pictures from this last one from Kano. Meanwhile, let's tell you that the Kano State Governor, Abba Yusuf, has had no choice but to impose a 24-hour curfew. We'll share that with you as well. Let's go there.
Emergency State Security Council meeting that was held in my office, and with the attendance of all the security heads of the security agencies in the state. It was collectively decided that 24-hour curfew should be put in place in order to prevent further looting and vandalization of shops, mosques, public buildings, as well as indiscriminate killing and maiming of innocent citizens. On this note, therefore, and based on the powers conferred on me by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as the Chief Security Officer of the state, I have therefore declared 24 hours curfew in the state with immediate effect. Fellow citizens, gentlemen of the press, let me say that this action is made to ensure full protection of
you see, nobody saw this coming. Kano, the state of the Talakawas, became violent, and this is the first of the proposed 10-day protest.
Well, can we say nobody saw this coming? I doubt it.
That it was going to be violent to a situation where the governor is declaring a 24-hour curfew.
You see, the issue about protest is this. Protest is a message of discontent.
Okay.
And when you have a message of discontent, depending on who is even passing across that message, that is what will determine what you see. You can see a clear difference, for example, in the protest in the southwest parts of the country,
Okay.
and that's in the northern parts of the country. It's quite, you showed a lot of clips here.
Yeah.
We saw what was going on in Ojota and other parts of Lagos, for example. You see that people were gathered together, but it's not in a violent manner. However, in these other northern parts of the country, because of the level of poverty in that part of the country, because of the level of education among the lower Kedar,
The Talakawa.
the Salakawas. So the only language such people hear is whatever is passed across to them. They don't really, I'm sorry to say, they cannot sit down to really reason their actions carefully. And I'm talking about these Talakawas. And you could see that in Kano, for example, they've already started looting. The digital center of the National Communication Center Commission was already looted. So you ask yourself, what are you asking for and what actions
Is looting part of the
are you taking? But then, if you remember, and I do not mean to disparage or insult anybody, if you go to the north, for example, I've experienced it before. If you go to a restaurant and you are served your food and you get up, for example, that you want to go and wash your hand, before you come back, somebody will have carried your food. You get it? And you dare not complain. What does that suggest to you? It suggests that these people are hungry.
Wow.
They are very hungry. And in what language do you think the hungry person will understand?
Yeah.
So immediately they hear about protest. To them, it's an opportunity to loot, to steal, and to do different kinds of things.
Yeah.
So that is why I said, for me, in that part of the country, I couldn't rule it out.
Okay.
And I don't even know, I think it's better that the governor has already imposed a curfew, because you can't imagine what will take place.
Yeah, BC, you'd be surprised that before Mayor and I came here, we talked about 1989, SAP riot, talked about 1993, the June 12 Wahala, prominent here, but largely quiet up there in the north.
Yeah, because let me start by saying that protest is a right entrenched in the Constitution.
Okay.
So nobody has any problem with people protesting. Some of us, our own argument is that we must not allow what happened 4 years ago during NSAS to repeat itself when Lagos lost trillions of naira and we're still suffering that problem. So let me start by saying that I want to commend the governor of Lagos State and the security agencies in Lagos for what they've done. They've done wonderfully well. You know,
the CP came to Ojota here.
Yes, because they've done wonderfully well. They'll be able to contain it. Did different strategies, met with different people. Because this protest, there are people, civil liberties organizations, and then some other people that you need to engage with. And by the time you can convince some of them, then you'll be able to just take the fire out of that, take the petrol out of the fire. And they'll be able to do that. And then the court judgment that they got, asking the protesters to be confined to Ojota, it's also a master stroke, because you'll be able to monitor them. And that's what they did. They monitored them. And we didn't have any problem in Lagos. I want to commend them for that.
Yeah.
But I also want to criticize the governor of Kano State. What happened in Kano is failure of leadership. When some governors were making provisions to protect their state, the governor of Kano State was playing politics. And he has now realized that, because he was saying, oh, he supports protests and people who have the right to protest and all that. And he has seen the repercussion, because millions of money.
Apparently, he didn't see this coming.
He didn't see it coming, because you see, the problem with protests is that there is no way it will not be hijacked if it's not properly monitored. Because, like she said, people are hungry. So when there's a protest, they see it as an avenue to vent their hunger, and it becomes we and them. They look at it as the poor versus the rich, or the comfortable. So they look to people with shops, they loot those shops, not minding that those people don't work for government, and they are individuals. You understand? But that is the way of protest. So you cannot be sure what the end of a protest will be.
Yeah.
So it's always better to monitor it. Yeah. And that is why they were because if we had not done that in Lagos, imagine, it just takes time. Immediately it goes out of hand, everybody, some people will now catch in and try to do that. Secondly, you will look at it that politics is also being played. If you remember during NSAS, oh, a lot of southern parts of the country were burning, the north was calm.
Including this station.
That's what I'm saying. Was attacked. The north was calm. Now, there are a lot of politicians from the north.
So the shoe is in the other leg.
Yes, because now you have a southern president. You have some people who do not, for whatever reason, do not agree with him. And because I tell people, when the masses on their own do not have what it takes to do anything. Even revolutions all over the world, from French Revolution down, it is the elites that will sit down and decide that, oh, we want a change, or we don't agree with this. And then they will now mobilize the masses to do what they want.
Yeah.
So those masses that you are seeing, there are some people behind who are manipulating them to say, go on. If you ask some of these people,